será para Roland de Coffee Quest en Colombia. Roland, en cualquier momento puedes subir en el escenario. Puedes subir al escenario cuando quieras. Muchas gracias.
Se despierten con la luz de tu mirada, yo a Dios le pido.
Muy bien, muchas gracias, Roland. ¿Por qué esta canción? ¿Por qué esta canción de Juanes?
Juanes para mí es el símbolo de Colombia, es una artista colombiana y es de Medellín, donde yo vivo, y él estaba muy popular cuando yo me trasladé por Colombia hace 11 años. Entonces, para mí es el símbolo de Colombia.
Genial, genial. Sí, muy bien. ¿Y cómo ha sido para ti venir desde Colombia hasta Japón? ¿Cómo ha sido tu experiencia? No sé si es tu primera vez aquí en Japón o ya habías venido antes. ¿Qué tal ha sido tu experiencia?
Sí, es mi primera vez aquí en Colombia, aquí en Japón, y me encanta. Para mí, yo soy de Holanda, entonces para mí la cultura japonesa siempre me pareció muy extraño, muy exótico, y por el idioma siempre hay una distancia. Y desde el momento que estoy aquí me siento muy en mi casa. La gente son muy amable. Claro que tiene que tener un idioma similar para que puedan hablar. Pero sí, me siento muy en mi casa aquí, entonces me gusta mucho.
Genial, muy bien. Pues con eso no te quito más tiempo entonces. Ahí está el podio, es todo tuyo. Así que puedes empezar la presentación. Gracias, un aplauso para Coffee Quest.
I was speaking Spanish before, but I will do my presentation in English, which there's more people here probably that understand English, and for me it's just as easy. Photos there, yeah. So exactly 10 years ago, I was working in my previous profession as a photojournalist when I came to come and live in Colombia. And I met some farmers there, some coffee farmers, who were very frustrated that the only option they had to sell their coffees was in the local market, to sell it for the market price, a low market price at the time, to local buyers. So being a bridge between Latin America and Europe, I decided to bring some of these coffees to Holland, sell them there directly to consumers, so that I would be the only person between the farmer and the consumer, and so that I could bring more of the final coffee price to those farmers so that they could actually increase their income. For that, I needed a roaster in the Netherlands, so I found a roaster, and the first thing she asked me was like, oh, could you bring some coffee for me as well? And her order was like 10 times as big as what I was bringing to Holland. So then I thought like, maybe there's another business model there. So I started focusing more on bringing unroasted coffee to Europe. I started approaching more roasters, and this is how, in the end, I turned out to be not a journalist, but a green coffee trader. Over the years, I've grown, so by now it's not just me between the farmer and the roaster anymore, but our philosophy hasn't changed. We want to make sure that the farmers still get paid a very good price, and to do that, we've started focusing more and more on quality, because when a coffee cup's higher, you can also pay a higher price. So we started training farmers, focusing mostly on the processes on the farm. The low-hanging fruits in this were fermentation improvements, drying processes, and better picking. Simple recommendations that can improve the cupping score with very little effort, 1 to 2 points, and up the price. Picture 2, please. One standard program that we do is instructing a farmer to ferment a small lot, starting at 12 hours, for instance, and then taking a sample every 4 to 6 hours and do that over the next 2 days. This way you end up with a lot of different samples. We'll cup all these samples and then we'll define what is the best fermentation time for this farmer. So this has helped lots of farmers in increasing the quality of their coffee. To do this, we needed to be closer to the farmers. So what we decided was we opened buying stations throughout the country in coffee villages. By now we have 9. They're all located in Huila, Nariño, and Antioquia. For those of you who know a little bit about the geography of Colombia, those are like the main coffee regions for specialty coffee. We do work with other groups in Cauca, in Tolima, and soon this year in the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta as well. But there we work with a group that has its own cupping lab, for instance, and we'll just send a cupper there. While in the other stations we have our own warehouse, we have our own cupping lab, and we have our own cupper buyers. Our focus as exporters, as people who work in the specialty coffee, aligns very much with the focus of Typica, and especially this event, the sustainability. We see sustainability not just as an environmental thing, but as a holistic focus on making sure farmers and their children will want to continue producing great coffee in the future, but in a sustainable, circular way, and working in harmony with their environment. Image number 3. Over the years, we've implemented various programs focused on social and environmental impact. And with support of some of our clients, we've started several projects. For instance, we co-finance the purchase of eco-washers that reduce the use of water from 25 liters per kilo of coffee to 300 milliliters per kilo of coffee. So an immense saving of water and of water pollution. We're accompanying a group of 20 farmers in their conversion to organic processing. And we work together with the National Parks Foundation of Colombia to teach farmers to work in a more sustainable way, because a lot of them live in border areas around natural regions. Picture 4, please. In Giraldo, Antioquia, which is quite close to Medellin, where I live, we support a women's group with psychosocial support and to help them turn their farm into a more of a business rather than just a family activity, and that the women themselves become the leaders of their unit. The activities with these women have resulted in much more in their whole community. So we did a medical checkup day, for instance. They don't have a hospital or a clinic there, that benefited over 60 children and 50 adults. And together with the local Rotary Club and a client in the US, we're installing 2 water filter stations so that for the first time this community of 180 families will have access to clean water, which they didn't have. Picture 5, please. So yeah, to round up, I think our philosophy as the Coffee Quest combines very well with the idea that of this event to bring producers and roasters from all over the world together and to create a community. So I'm appealing to all you roasters here to please come and visit us in Colombia, or if you just want to have a more of a close contact with a farmer, don't hesitate to ask anybody of the Typica team or to come and approach me over the next days. to see if we can set up a nice personal connection. Because I think we have the opportunity to open up the world to small farmers that otherwise would never have this access. So I think that's the great thing about specialty coffee. So I'm very happy to be able to facilitate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Roland. If anybody has any question or comment, we have time to do 2 questions. It's because
Thank you for your presentation. I'm so impressed. Not only coffee, but also for other community, you do many things. And my question is very simple. Why did you change your career, journalist to producer? And why did you move to Colombia?
Thank you. Well, the last question. I moved to Colombia because I met a very beautiful Colombian woman and I married her. And I've been living in Colombia now we actually moved to Colombia for just a few years, thinking that we would move to Europe afterwards. And I fell in love with the country and with specialty coffee. So I actually learned about specialty coffee there when I met farmers. And I became passionate about that. So at first it was a hobby project. And yeah, over the years it just completely evolved. And I haven't touched my photo camera for years now. And I don't miss it. I'm very happy with what I'm doing now.
Okay, one more question. Does anybody wants to ask another question to Roland?
Ronald, you and I didn't know each other before we came to Tokyo, but in a way you are a bit like a bigger and more experienced brother for me, because we are both from Holland. We both moved to Latin America many years ago, but you have much more experience in coffee. I noticed that your operation is much bigger than Gerardo and my operation in Honduras. But we are very ambitious. We very much want to grow as well. And my question to you is, how do you assure your quality control now that you have grown so much bigger and are in many parts of Colombia? You told me about different washing stations and also about cuppers that you send to each location, but doesn't that sometimes make you nervous? Do you have a tendency to want to cup all the coffees yourself as well? How do you keep on top of things when you grow as much as you have?
It's a very interesting question, because that is actually one of the most important things that we focus on. We actually have 13 cuppers in the company, and that's about half of the people that work in Colombia for the Coffee Quest. And we have our own dry mill and everything as well, just to show that, yeah, how important quality control is. So every lot of coffee that gets offered to us gets cupped usually twice by the cuppers in a buying station. So usually in a buying station we have a cupper and an assistant who is a cupper in training, and they have the authority to purchase the coffee. Then they'll send a sample to the head office, where we have a team of 3 cuppers that will cup the coffee again, and they will compare notes. So if regularly they're not in line, either the team from our head office will travel to the buying station, or we'll ask them to come over to our head office, and we'll spend a week cupping together. Throughout the year, we also do several sessions with the whole team to be able to calibrate. So that is definitely a very important thing. And that has also made us a very reliable supplier to roasters and to Typica, because if you're not sure what you're delivering, then it can go wrong really quickly.
In the meantime, thank you, Roland, for the presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, give you a big applause to Roland. Thank you.